Thank you, God, for another day to be excellent. I'll be kind and brilliant, focused, disciplined, and ready. I'll be honest and faithful, a bold and courageous leader. For you have unchained me, my ancestors have sacrificed for me, so I am free to be my best self. Ashe.
Jacob Blake was shot in the back 7 times by police officers while his 3 sons watched. We know this place. It's all too familiar. He had no weapon. He was posing no imminent threat other than the color of his skin, for we know that black and brown men, women, and children are weaponized just for being born black in this country. Oftentimes we hear stories like this. We read them, we watch the videos, we share them, we post our hashtags, we wear our t-shirts, and then we become paralyzed spiritually, mentally, because we don't know what to do. We are overwhelmed with the task of it all. Dismantling white supremacy, which is indeed the entire mission, is an arduous task. A very difficult one, but we all play a role. The problems sometimes seem too great, too insurmountable to conquer. But as Jacob Blake, by some miracle, fights for his life in a state of paralysis from his wounds, we must push ourselves to move. We must push ourselves to speak. We must push ourselves in a form of activism. This is my form of activism. Welcome to the open house of Rise Anyabwile Academy, the first virtual African-centered educational community under the Rise Smart umbrella, where students are empowered, families are supported, educators are valued, and genius, the genius of our children is cultivated. Tonight, I'm going to share an overview of how we plan to support all of our families in our community with full-time and supplemental holistic educational options. But first, I have even more good news. Not only will we begin educating our community through Rise Anyabwile Academy, I have also partnered with a dynamic entrepreneurial educator to start the Rise Smart Schools. These schools will help other entrepreneurs establish their own micro schools using the Rise Smart curriculum and pedagogy. This year, we launched the flagship brick and mortar location in Jacksonville, Florida, the Gentry School. And tonight, we're launching the virtual option with Rise Anyabwile Academy. Please welcome my partner, the amazing LaShanta Holiday.
Good evening, families. Thank you so much for that warm introduction. I am delighted to begin this journey with you, to share this vision with you, Rise Smart, and all of the wonderful work that Talitha does. I am certain will be a blessing to not only our African American communities, but globally to the world. So I want to share with you very quickly so that we can stay committed to our agenda, what our theme is for this school year. As we had this amazing intro, and for such a time as this where we are compelled to move and to show up and to demand change, our theme this year is Leaders and Legacy of Excellence, Making Good Trouble.
Yes.
So in honor of John Lewis and the incredible work that he has led, our children are learning about the importance of advocacy and servant leadership and how those are used to provoke positive social change, whether we're talking about the civil rights movement to Black Lives Matter. It is an ongoing fight for freedom, to environmental reform, and our young scholars, our young learners, our children, our young kings and queens will learn the important role that they play individually and collectively to make good trouble to create a better tomorrow.
Yes.
And so I'm excited to share this vision with you and join hands with you. We are our first advocate, our children's first advocate, and we serve in excellence.
Yes.
And so
this has been a wonderful adventure with you, LaShonta. We have a few of our potential initial cohorts who will be opening their own micro schools on the call tonight. So thank you all for joining us tonight. This is the other half of the Rise Smart Consortium, and we will be helping you. We are doing it. We will not guide you in anything we have not done ourselves. So even though we have opened other micro schools and been a part in education for now, together combined almost 40 years if we combine our total, we still wanted to do it in this time, in this season, so we could know all of the shifts and changes that you will face and face them head on ourselves. So thank you so much for joining us tonight, LaShonta. I'm so excited to take this journey with you. So now let's talk about Rise Anyabwile Academy, because that's why we're here tonight. So Rise Anyabwile Academy was birthed in a vision of mine now almost 20 years ago, when I began working at Sakara Youth Institute in Tallahassee, Florida. Some of my educational mentors are still there in Tallahassee, Drs. Sharon and Dana Denard and Miss Rita Brown, who is the founder of Brownsville Preparatory Institute. And they have poured so much into me, and they were the initial introduction to the importance of education, but not just education in the sense I've always known how important education was. My parents instilled that into me, but they instilled in me the importance of empowering ourselves through education, the importance of ensuring that our children were seeing positive reflections of themselves, and how that was critical in their holistic and complete development. So I do want to share some of what Rise Anyabwile Academy will be offering to parents this academic year. So tonight is our virtual open house. And before we, delve into what Rise Anyabwile Academy is, I want to tell you all about the gift of right now, because a lot of us are stressed and really concerned about how we're going to educate our children. We are totally confused about what to do, and we're not looking through it through a lens of gratitude. And I want to help just shift that perspective a bit and focus on the gift of the present. Because of this global pandemic, not only are we forced to now spend more quality time with our children, which we may have not been able to do in the way that we wanted to prior to this, we still have the power to say no. And a lot of us feel like we have to do whatever the school board say, whatever the government says, whatever anyone else says in terms of dictating the education of our children. And that is not true. You have power right now like you have never had before. You have the power of choice. You have the power of being able to say, no, I am going to break the mold and break the system even for this 1 year and do something drastically different than what I've seen and done before, so that I can change the trajectory of my child. You have the option of exploring alternatives for supplemental support. Even if you choose to do the traditional method, you can still do supplemental support that will empower your children in ways that they've never had the opportunity to have before. You have the opportunity to teach your own children. I know that sounds daunting and it sounds overwhelming. And for many of you, you just don't have the desire. But let me tell you a secret. You have been teaching your child from day one. From the time you brought them home, you have been their first and primary educator. They soak up everything from you, everything about how to engage with other people, how to treat yourself, how to love, how to communicate. They are learning the fundamental practices of being a human being from you, which is far more critical than anything that they can learn academically. You also have an opportunity to start your own Rise Smart School. And that's something that for those of you who have the entrepreneurial spirit that you can do and that we will guide you through step by step. Now, in order to get started with Rise Anyabwile Academy, you have to know your why. Why in the world would you switch from what you've always done, what you've always known, and do something drastically different? And you have to answer that why for yourself. For me, I began homeschooling my children when they showed me their genius, and I knew I could not put them in an environment where that would not be cultivated. I knew that I was equipped to give them all the tools they needed to develop into the amazing people that I knew they were destined to be. And I wanted to make sure that I did everything within my power to do that. So I knew my why. You have to decide what your why is for you. Here are some whys that we all share in terms of doing this. One, you have a safer learning environment. And I'm not just talking about, we know we deal with problems with gun control in our schools in America, but I also mean safer in terms of their spirit and their mental space and their wellness. Because when our children are put in positions or put in situations and circumstances in schools where they are not valued, where they are not heard, where they are not seen for who they are, that is spiritually unsafe. So you have an opportunity now to create a safe learning environment, to have curated academic resources. So part of becoming a full-time student in Rise Anyabwile Academy means we curate your child's educational experience based on their learning style. No longer will it be a checklist of every child is supposed to know X, Y, and Z by X age. That's just not true. Anyone who's had any experience in education, even those of us ourselves who matriculated through the traditional system, we know that it was not just always even when we were matriculating through our schools. So we understand that it's important to have a curated experience specific to our learning styles and specific to where we are in each academic field and push them forward to their highest potential. You have an opportunity to have a more or less rigorous curriculum. Oftentimes, some of our children are just floating through the system, especially in some cases where we have the school to prison pipeline and they will just kind of pass them or mislabel them or put them in situations where they are not being challenged or stimulated. They are mislabeled when they should be labeled gifted. They are mislabeled as ADHD. We have opportunity now to make sure that the curriculum fits who they are. We have an opportunity to customize it for their unique needs and to develop character in the midst of the academics. It's not enough to be brilliant. We know that. You also must have high quality in character. And for the first time ever, you have the opportunity to actually experience the RISE cultural component curriculum. I began drafting the Raising Imhotep curriculum almost 20 years ago when I was working at Sakara, and I knew that it was important and fundamentally sacred to the importance of holistic development and making sure that children knew who they were and answered some fundamental questions. And that is woven into every aspect of our curriculum. So you have the opportunity now to actually share in that and engage in that experience. I'm excited to present that for the first time ever. Some of the reasons that we also know it's important to use this time and make sure that we are using it to propel our children even higher than they would have before. There are studies that show the advantage of homeschooling, the advantage of making sure that we actually invest in our children. We know that in a year, according to the National Home Education Research Institute, that in 1 year, reading levels shot up 42% just from being homeschooled in 1 year. We have the gift of that 1 year right now. We know that language skills developed by 26%. We know that math skills developed by 23%. Now, this was barring for everything being even across socioeconomic status and everything else. These were not students who came from privilege. These were not students who had an excess of anything else other than the opportunity to learn at their own pace in a safe home environment. So we want to definitely take advantage of that. What is Rise Anyabwile Academy? I strongly believe in the importance of names. When I named this school, I knew that I wanted to have symbolism and significance because it's all in the name. So it's a bit long, but it has meaning. As with most African names, we know they are long. We are a mouthful. We are full of culture and grace and strength. And so, yes, it is long, but it is also mighty. So RISE is an acronym for Raising Imhotep Scholars of Excellence. And it is named after Imhotep, which is the world's first multi-genius. I remember when I first learned of Imhotep, to see someone that reflected me being the one who inspired every other genius that we do learn about in school, like Socrates and Einstein, people who do not reflect us. I knew that they all learned from the world's first multi-genius, and that was Imhotep. Our children will learn that from day one. It also has my name, Anyabwile, which is Bantu. The origin is Bantu, and it means God has unchained me. So literally, it means that we will rise and be unchained in freedom through education. The acronym RA, as in Rise Anyabwile, is representative of the sun, and it's also named after my mentor, Kiafi Ra Moyo, because she has been a strong inspiration in me pursuing educational empowerment through an African-centered lens. Our symbols, the logo of a young Imhotep, that just shows the power of all of us being able to raise our version of Imhotep. Every last one of us, has our own unique of genius, and so do our children. We want to help cultivate that because every one of them is their own version of Imhotep. So we want to understand who they are and what their genius is. We use core values to run through the thread of our entire curriculum. And those core values are based on the Nguzo Saba. If you're not familiar with the Nguzo Saba, those are the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. So we don't wait until December to celebrate Kwanzaa. We celebrate Kwanzaa throughout the year because the importance of those values needs to be threaded throughout their understanding and matriculation. So each week will be devoted to working on a new principle. So we'll start with Umoja and end with Imani every week to make sure that we are cultivating not only the academic genius, but the holistic genius of all of our students. So each week we'll go through each one of these principles, and then we also have compounded them with some of the RISE values that go down from community to confidence to compassion to leadership to grit and gratitude. So each week we will have project-based assignments that are devoted to understanding those principles and understanding those values. Because again, it's not enough to be brilliant. You also have to be holistically developed and well. So the Rise Anyabwile Academy difference, what does that mean? What does it mean to be African-centered? Some people usually get a little frightened even when they hear it. They get taken aback by the idea that African-centered simply means that we are communal, that we are using the resources that we have in a communal sphere, that we are raising global citizens that will have an appreciation and understanding of their own culture and be able to answer some fundamental questions about themselves so that they can have an appreciation for every other culture in the world. So it's one that is enriched with culture all the time. It's not one that it's not something we put on the shelf. It is a part of who we are. Just as I opened talking about Jacob Blake, we will have dialogue about conversations that are relative to what's happening in the world in an age-appropriate manner, because it's important that our children are aware, but also protected spiritually and mentally from the traumas of the world. Tenets and curriculum. So within that, we answer some fundamental questions. First question is about self-discovery. We will teach our children to understand who we are. And that is a question that we are all asking. It's an evolving answer as we mature, as we develop. We help them understand how to answer that for themselves. So they are always given a script, but they're also given the blank canvas to paint their own picture and define themselves for themselves. They have to answer why they're here. We help them understand what their unique skill set is, what their unique talents are, so that we can develop them into something that will help them sustain themselves and contribute to our community. Because all of us are born with gifts. We help them understand what their unique gift is and how that genius needs to be cultivated so they can empower themselves and others. We also answer, what must we do collectively? We want them to understand that we are united together, but we must be diligent in how we see ourselves and our community. I think we're waiting for the next slide. So we must be diligent in our pursuit of success, whatever that definition is. So that's not defined by anybody else. That's not defined by anybody else's pressures or expectations. We help children understand what they want for themselves. And then we help them understand their responsibility and how we will do it. So let's talk about the difference between being a homeschooling student, a full-time homeschooling student, versus being a supplemental homeschooling student. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen. We seem to have some. I'm going to stop sharing. Thank you. I'm just going to speak. So as a full-time homeschooling student, that means we take care of everything. We define the curriculum that they would need to take. We assess their learning style. We help you understand how they best learn, what tools best work for them, and then we work with you to check off all the boxes that you need to check off. So if you are registered as a homeschooling student, we help you comply with everything, all the requirements of your respective state to make sure that you have everything in order to check off those boxes, because we know that's important. So we do have a digital online curriculum that has all of the core subjects that every state requires, and those core subjects are math, science, some form of social studies, and some form of language arts. So we have all of those core courses in a virtual curriculum that we have scoured and searched and compared and selected that most aligns with our academic curriculum. So the children will have that and they will be able to go at their own pace. That is the joy of this. They don't have to wait on other students. They don't have to jump ahead when they don't understand. They can literally go at their own pace, and we will guide them as virtual guides to make that happen. So as a full-time homeschooling student, we help you with your scheduling. We help you understand what projects to do, and we offer you 9 hours of virtual content while you are going through each week. So your students can select, like a collegiate course, the times and days that they want to take certain courses. So certain courses are offered Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Some are offered Tuesday and Thursday, but they get to kind of pick their schedule month to month based on their circadian rhythm. Now, where do they do that? Nowhere else. We all know that we have optimal hours where we're the most productive. Our children do too. And so we're going to unschool and unravel and understand what that means and how they best perform. And so we offer courses at different times throughout the day so they can define themselves what their best schedule is. So as a full-time homeschooling student, you also have access to all of the courses first. Before anybody else, you have first right of refusal of all the courses. And there are select courses that are only offered to full-time homeschooling students, like the ones that I will be teaching. As a supplemental student, that is an option for parents who are still doing the traditional school setting. They're still doing virtual school online, or maybe they're going into brick and mortar, but they want an opportunity to actually supplement some of their child's curriculum with something else. So for those, we offer courses in the evening for after school, and those range in methodology and range in terms of course. So you can have foreign languages, you can have dance, you can have music, you can have voice, you can have a range of activities that they can do after school, still taught from an African-centered lens. And so we're excited to be able to offer that to students as a supplement. And then there's also tutorials of the core subjects. So maybe your child is struggling in math in school, and maybe they're struggling with reading or language arts. They can take the tutorial program in the after school to be able to supplement. Those courses are just $21 per course. Very reasonable, very easy to do. You take the courses you want to take, you sign up on a monthly basis. And for this month, registration is completely free. In fact, through the end of September, registration is completely free. So all you have to do is purchase your courses a la carte as you want them, as you need them. You can purchase them in bulk, or you can purchase them one by one as you need them. The other part of that is, though, and here's the advantage of all of the courses, no course will have more than 12 students. Now, how many of you have already started traditional school and you have seen 30 plus kids on the screen or 20 plus kids on the screen, people muting on and off, the activity is just chaotic, and your child is having a hard time focusing because there are too many students on the screen. You will not have that problem here. You will never have more than 12 students in a class. The minimum enrollment is 8 students to start a class. So if you purchase a class a la carte and that class is not filled, just like in college, the class will be dropped and you'll be refunded your money. So we have a minimum of 8 students, a maximum of 12 students. We want that minimum of 8 students to ensure that there's still a communal engagement unless you purchase a one-to-one tutoring. So you have small classroom sizes that will be curated to your child's learning style, that will be curated to what your child's needs are on a regular basis at a schedule that they can choose. So it's a completely customized education. So the core courses that we offer are the ones that I've stated before: the math, the science, the social studies, the language arts. And then we also offer a list of electives. Some of them include health, foreign languages, music, chorus, vocal lessons, dance. And so there are a plethora of activities that they can do, whether they're doing supplemental or full-time. But again, the full-time students always get first right of refusal. So when does this start? School starts for us on September 8th. So we will start the first day of school on Tuesday, September 8th. That's the day after Labor Day. And then we will commence to begin for 180 days. So our school year ends on June 15th. We have a 40-week calendar, and those 40 weeks will be divided into 8-week segments. So remember when I told you that every week we have a different principal. So those principles, there are 7 principles. On that 8th week, that's the 8th week that we show what we know. So in that 8th week, we show what we know, and students will be able to be assessed in the way that they learn. So if they are not a student that excels at standardized testing, that is not the way we'll test them. If they work better in an oral testing or doing a presentation or showing a project, that's how we will assess them. My motto in Raising Imhotep in my entire curriculum has always been, if you can teach it, then I know you know it. So we will be making sure that students are able to actually teach the material that they have been taught, and that will show the mastery of their understanding. So we want to make sure that we follow the check boxes as well. So the online curriculum, for those who do want a more concrete, if you're one of those parents that, I really want that concrete number grade, I really want something I can tangibly see and show, we have that option too. So you have the option to be able to use our curriculum totally without any grades, or to use the curriculum there. I see a couple of questions. I'm going to pull that up here. Let's see. How will the courses be populated? Age, grade, very good question. So these are blended classrooms. Placement will be based on those first few weeks. We will be shifting. There will be lots of shifts. So when you go on the website tonight, you will see that the classes are categorized based on grade levels. So pre-K is by itself because there are varying levels in pre-K. So that's a class by itself. Kindergarten, same thing. That's kindergarten is by itself. Then there's first and second, then third and fourth, then fourth and fifth. But a child may be in a first and second classroom for math and a third and fourth classroom for language arts. They may be in a kindergarten classroom for social studies and possibly even a fifth grade classroom, I've seen it, for math or science. So your child will learn based on where they are. They won't have to be held back in any way, and they won't have to pretend they know something when they don't. It's more about depth of understanding rather than breadth. So we'll spend a lot of times, and you'll feel like, oh, we're not moving fast enough. Yes, we are. Believe me, I've done this for 20 years. Yes, we are. We're moving at their level of understanding and pace. So we are making sure that they have a depth of understanding rather than a breadth of understanding so that they can move forward a little bit quicker. Similar question above, do you offer? Yes, we do offer courses for preschoolers. So even though our concrete curriculum online is for K through 5, we do have the preschool will only be using the Raising Imhotep curriculum. So those are our emerging readers. I'm so excited about preschool. Those are our emerging readers. Those are our young developers. Those are the ones that we're still figuring out their learning style, and they're curious and they're exploring. Those are the students who will not need to trek through an online course because they're pre-K. That course is more for parents to be engaged and involved and understand, what do I need to teach my child? It answers that question, because a lot of parents are just confused. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to teach them. I think I'm supposed to teach them how to read, or I don't know. That answer is not the same for everyone. So that we want to make sure you know what your child needs to learn, not just what everybody needs to learn. So that will be customized and curated based on that. Let me see if there are any other questions before I go back to Davisha. That answer will be right at the end. We will answer that question. Where do you go to pay and where do you sign up? So school starts September 8th. If you've already enrolled, and we already have a few enrollees, I'm so excited about our enrollees. The only thing is right now, aside from my daughter, and this is a personal plea on her behalf, aside from my daughter, we have all boys, which I love. I love my boys. I love my other surrogate sons, but my baby girl is the only girl right now. So if you have a fifth grade or even sixth grade, actually, if you have a fifth grade 9-year-old girl or 10-year-old girl, somewhere in that range, please join us, because otherwise I will not be able to tell her a thing, because she's already calling herself the queen of the classroom. And we need to make sure she is. We need to make sure they know that they all are, but she doesn't need to be the only one. So we need some balance in there. So please, if you have anyone that is around fifth grade girl, please join us. She's definitely looking for another partner in that regard. So your world, I can tell you, it's about to be turned upside down. There's nothing like this. It is going to feel different. It will not be easy the entire time. I'm going to do everything within my power to make it easier. But there is nothing I can do to take away from the fact that your child is going to be home all day. That there's nothing I can do about that. If I could have a boarding school and bring all your children to me, that is a dream. I would love it, but that's not the case. I want to do everything within my power to make sure you have every tool you need to make sure they are successful. But I will not be doing this alone. So now I want to bring up my extraordinary team of teachers. So let me tell you about this. If you know me, you know that my expectations are very high. That might be a bit particular. I'm not ashamed of that. I don't apologize for it. I'm not sorry. So we had about 30 plus applicants to become RISE educators, and we only have a few that made it. And I want to introduce these stellar few who made it through to actually become RISE educators. These are extraordinary dynamic. They happen to all be women. We are certainly looking for Black male educators as well. But I just want to introduce these. So we're going to start with our pre-K, followed by our math and science. So teachers, get ready to have your cameras on because you're about to come on and tell us a little bit about yourselves. So you get to now hear from some of the teachers in our program. And we're starting with our dynamic preschool teacher, Miss Avian.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Miss Avian. I'm so excited to be here and honored to serve in this community. I will be your preschool virtual guide, and I like to talk about my classroom just a little bit. I like to call it a lab. We're in the lab. It may get a little messy, but in the lab, we'll be cultivating the genius in your child. And so through this messiness at times, we'll explore, we'll create, we'll move, we'll discover, we will problem solve. All those things are involved, and I look forward and I just can't wait. We're going to move, we're going to create, we're going to do all those things that your children are going to love, and you're going to enjoy it. I promise you. You'll enjoy it, and I'm going to walk you through it. I'm here for all your preschool needs. I look forward.
Thank you so much, Avian. It was so divine how we even crossed paths. I really want to thank Marissa. I think she's on this call. Thank you so much, Marissa, for this recommendation. I can tell you the one advantage that I did not cover fully is the opportunity to be a part of a community. This is not just a school. This is an educational community where everybody is pouring in. So a lot of the teachers that are here tonight because someone from my community recommended them and led them to here. And so that's how we will continue to grow and expand. If you know other incredible teachers, send them my way, because the more teachers we have, the more courses we'll be able to offer, the greater our community will flourish. And next we will have our math and science instructor for 1st through 5th grade, Miss Maya.
Hello, friends. My name is Maya Brown, and I'm so excited to be teaching math and science. I can't wait to share with you my absolute love of math and science. I've been teaching since 2006 in various states and various dynamics. In my classroom, we will explore how numbers and the world around us relate to us and how it all interconnects, because it does. It's going to be so much fun, and I can't wait to see our scholars grow and soar to new heights.
Thank you, Maya. Another amazing recommendation from a friend. Thank you, Carlene, for this amazing recommendation with Miss Maya. And next we will have, we're coming on, I see here. Let's go. My chat box here. Okay. Thank you, Miss Janita. I just wanted to make sure you were on there for a call. Thank you, Miss Janita.
Hello, Rise families. I am Miss Janita, and I am so happy to be a part of the village. I can't wait to get to know each and every one of your scholars individually and to learn about their favorite authors and genres. And this year, we will be discovering aspects of diasporic literature and creative writing together.
Did you all hear her say diasporic literature? I did. Thank you. Yes, because we want to make sure that our children leave with an understanding of the amazing scribes within our community as well. Next, we will have some of our extracurricular teachers. We'll start with Dr. Yancey, who I have known since elementary school. This is someone that has been a part of my community since elementary school. That is how community works. We grew up in the SWATs together, and now she will be teaching for us. So please welcome Dr. Yancey.
Hi, I am Dr. Yancey. I'm going to be teaching violin, beginning, intermediate, and advanced. And I am a native of Atlanta, Georgia. Me and Mrs. Ayabale went to elementary and middle school together. She is a lifelong friend of mine. And we also had the privilege of teaching together at Sakara Youth Institute in Tallahassee for a school year. So I am honored to be teaching here. I have been teaching for 18 years. It's my 19th year teaching. And I've taught in Louisiana, Georgia, and Florida. And I look forward to bringing the joy of music into each of your children's lives.
Thank you, Bridget. I am so excited to be able to
Yeah,
work with you again. I think this is amazing.
me
Like from
too.
Brandon to all the way to Rising Willie Academy, we have been together. She even went to school in Tallahassee. Not quite the right school, but it was good. It was good. It was good. She was in Tallahassee. We were in Tallahassee at the same time. So I'm so
Yeah.
thankful and honored to have you join us, Bridget. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Yancey. To get on, we're going to go ahead and go to Miss Mimi, who will be doing voice and chorus.
Good evening, everyone. Repeat after me. Me, 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 me. I am absolutely privileged to be a part of this community and grateful and honored to be a part of RISE. I think that it is an incredible opportunity to not only take back the power that we have as parents to engage our children in their own learning, but to take responsibility for what they can become in and to the world because of that. I bring to you over 20 years of experience as a professional singer, songwriter, director, actor, actress, dancer, choreographer. So musical theater is my background and passion. Education, right? So those two things combined, the education and the arts, I'm bringing those specialties to this space and am privileged and honored to be able to teach not just vocal techniques, but songwriting and lyricism and spoken word and poetry and connecting storytelling through song. So thank you in advance, and I look forward to working with both you and your children as we build this beautiful community together.
Thank you so much, Miss Mimi. I'm not sure if Miss Whitty made it back. If you did, Miss Whitty, please turn on your camera. I know she was having a few issues. If not, last but certainly not least, I will be teaching for the full-time students. I will be teaching first through fifth grade language arts, an extensive understanding of our literature with spoken word. And I also will be teaching, because this is a community, it's an educational community. So it's not just for the students. We will have ongoing parent courses where we will be teaching you how to cultivate the unique genius of your child. And that is exclusively for our full-time students and parent population, where we will literally go through, I will give you all my secrets, everything that we've developed, everything that I've learned, everything that I've gleaned over the years, because it's not enough for me to teach just my children. They need to build a community with someone. So everything that I have gained in this now 20 years of experience, I want to share with you through our parent workshops. So we will have community workshops, parent workshops that I will be leading and facilitating, or bringing in other experts in to lead and facilitate for our full-time student population. So all of us will be learning and gaining, because that's what education is. It's an exchange. So it doesn't just go one way, and our children will learn and understand that as well. So now, how do we get started? What do we do? If you are interested in becoming a full-time student, please go to the raisinghotep.com website and sign up for an initial consultation. It's a free consultation where we will sit down and talk about whether or not this meets your needs and how to enroll. Remember, enrollment fees have been waived until the end of September. And so you can join now with no enrollment fee and start the full-time matriculation. You can choose whether you want to do a monthly plan, which requires nothing but that 1 month of commitment, to do an 8-week segment plan. Remember, we do everything in terms of 8 weeks. So every 8 weeks is when we assess progress. Or you can do the academic yearly plan, where you say, you know what, I want to fully invest in my child's education for this entire year. Remember, this is a curated, private experience. This is not like anything you've had before. This is about meeting your child's unique needs. So we will not be just checking off boxes, though that will be a part of it, because we know that our students have to be able to do both. We will also be helping them understand all of the fundamental questions that I shared with you earlier. If you know that, you know what, I don't want to do full time, but I do want to supplement some courses. I know my child is struggling in certain areas, or I don't like the way the material is being presented in traditional school in terms of history. You can sign up specifically for those courses. Those courses, every course is a flat rate of $21 per session. And so you can sign up for those courses one at a time, by group, depending upon the course, or month to month. So those options are there. Full-time students always get first right of refusal of every course. So those courses that are left after full-time students have enrolled are the ones that will be available to the community at large for a la carte purchasing. So you can visit the site. We are now live. If you go to raisinghotep.com, there's a pop-up that shows up as soon as you log in. When you click on that image, it takes you to the courses that are left at this point. They will constantly be refreshed, constantly be added. This is all about meeting the demands of the community. So as we have more students, we'll have more courses. As we bring in more teachers and we bring in more students, we will match those together to create more course offerings for you and your family. So that is how we can get started. I want to just thank you all for joining. I'm going to look and see if there are any questions here. If you have a question that we did not answer, you're welcome to stay after. If you're in the Zoom room, stay after for a moment. But I do want to be respectful for time. I was trying to be within an hour, and I think I made it. So I want to make sure we answer all the questions, but I do want to make sure I'm respectful for your time because I know we're getting into bedtime for some of you and all of those things. So I want to bring on all of the teachers for just a moment. If all of you could just come on. LaShanta, if you could come on. If you could just come on for a minute. Kiafi, if you could come on. I think I have my parents in here. If my parents are in here and able, they could come on to join us onto the screen for a moment. Yes, thank you. This is a part of your new village. All of these people here value not only education, but genuinely care about you and your children and your family. So you will never have to question the intention. You will never have to question the motive. You will never have to question the delivery of what we are doing because it is always coming from a space of love and compassion and relativity because we see our reflections in them and in you. So we want to make sure that you know that all these people you see here and all of you can turn your cameras on. This is your community now. The Seafolds, you're part of the community. The Price family, you're part of the community. And I feel like Oprah, you're part of the community. You're part of the community. You're part of the community. All of us are now a part of this. Yes, Devisha, you're part of the community. All of us are now a part of the community. This is who your family can lean on for support because you are not in this alone. So when we have those community workshops where we have to meet together after dark and just really vent and talk through things, this is part of the community that you will see to help and support you through all of that because we're here for all of that too. We see the whole of you. I want to thank all of you for joining us tonight. I want to give special thanks to my teachers. Thank you so much for joining, for your preparedness so far, for your willingness to support this vision. I'm so grateful to you. One thing that I know is that when you have a vision, the Creator does do everything to give you provision, and you are all part of that. So thank you so much for that. Thank you to the families who have joined. I'm so grateful for you too. I am honored. I was just telling my husband today, it is an honor, a humbling honor to know that you trust me with your children. Because I know how that is. There are not many people I trust with my children. So to know that you trust me, know that I do not take that lightly. Know that I value that, I appreciate that, and everything within my power to make sure that your children rise with mine, I am going to do. That is my fundamental goal and principle here and purpose here. I want to thank my parents. I know they're on. I know my dad is screaming loud in the living room somewhere. I want to share this really quickly. A few months ago, my mom called me. I'm going to try to get through this without crying. My mom called me and said, Talitha, I had a dream. I had a dream last night that it was like a big graduation, and it was kids coming from all over the world meeting in this one place, and they were meeting in one place for this big graduation, and they hadn't been in school together. They hadn't met each other before, but they were spending this whole time together to get ready for their graduation, and yet somehow they all knew the same things. They all were ready in the same way, even though they had not met before. And I was like, that's Talitha's school. It was like, it was your school. You got up there, you were speaking, and everybody knew who you were, and everybody knew the curriculum. Everybody knew what to say, even though they hadn't met before. And I was bawling on the phone because I literally had the same exact dream. The same exact dream. And so I know when they say they try to bury us, it's their mistake because they don't know that we're seeds. And we are still growing and blossoming and flourishing even in this. And your babies are seeds, and we are going to nurture them so that they can flourish and grow in every way possible. So I Thank you. I'm humble with all of you. Thank you, Kiafi, for your support tonight. Thank you, LaShanta, for your support tonight. Thank you to my educational mentors, the Denards and Rita Brown. Thank you to my siblings, all of my sister friends who have been supportive of me, the Black Girl Speaks community. Thank you, Rise Educational Village, everyone, for what you have done and support tonight. Miss Winnie, I think I just saw you come back in. So yes. I'm going to go back because we do not want to forget you. We are going to go back and allow Miss Winnie to speak and introduce herself. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. Hola todos families. Mi nombre es Maestra Winnie. I am the Spanish teacher and my name is Teacher Winnie. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited to be a part of the community. And the most important thing that I want you to know is that I'm going to make your Spanish just as good as your English. It's not just about the language. We're going to learn about the world. We're going to learn about food, and we're going to learn about places that you can travel to and practice your Spanish as well. So muchos gustos, los todos, and I'm excited to work with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Winnie. And one of the things that we have said, and I told my teachers this from the beginning, that one of the principles, and you saw that in the core values, is that we have to have grace. We must give ourselves grace. We must give each other grace as we grow. So we will always put forth our best effort, but life also happens. So I know, Miss Winnie, you were in here, you were punctual, you were prepared, and then tech stuff was happening. Know that that's okay. We always are going to bounce back. We're going to be here. Know that we are always putting forth the absolute best effort to provide everything that we need to our children, and we are offering each other grace in that process. Thank you all for joining us tonight. If you have questions and you're in the Zoom room, you're welcome to stay. If not, run to raisingemhotep.com. Once those classes fill up, they fill up, and that's that. Because the classes are offered based on teacher availability. Remember, if you are a full-time student, you don't have to run. I already have your classes reserved. All they need to do is select the timing, so you don't have to do anything. But wait, you'll get that before the end of the week, and your training and orientation starts next week. So get ready for that. Thank you all, and let us continue to rise together.